Without a doubt, these away results, you know, I mean, something very special to the group. I'm sure everyone can appreciate that. You know, the sort of you know, troubles and difficulties and traumas that you've got to go through when you come in to play away from home, and the attitude of the guys, the way they went about their business, the professionalism of the group shone through again. First half, I felt we were the better team, had the better opportunities, and really should have gone in front. And the second period, as probably expected, they turned the screw a little bit, had some periods themselves, and even you know, a good opportunity that both Joe and Walker, you know, put their bodies on the line for to preserve the clean sheet. But I think all in all, everyone would agree that chances created and opportunities that were presented to us or created by us, we deserve the victory.
Thank you, Gary. We'll start with Tim Sullivan, then we'll go to Ben Wright. Once again, if you have a question, utilize the hand raise function in the chat. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Gary, I'm not sure if you necessarily needed kind of a perfect example of how important Walker is to your team on each end of the field tonight, but what did he bring you guys in his return from international duty, especially obviously on the goal and then the block shot that you mentioned already?
Yeah, look, his presence alone, I've mentioned it on multiple occasions, it lifts others around him. He's an organizer, he's a leader, you know, the example he sets is just such a high one. He looked composed on the ball, he looked a threat in the air, he was physically dominant. And both of those occasions, I thought, epitomised really his performance today. And let's keep in mind, you know, he's like a lot of guys that have travelled with their country. He's not had any football, and his preparation time will have been limited. So to come in here today and play 90 minutes at the level he has, and in fairness, win the game, as you know, has been monumental for us. And again, just underlines his importance to the group.
We'll go with Ben Wright. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Gary, another game for Hani where he kind of pulled the strings throughout the match. And then obviously he picked up his ninth assist of the year. Just what did you make from him, and especially how he was linking up with CJ and Daniel?
Well, as we've seen on many occasions, Hani has the capability of not just getting on the ball, but controlling the pace of the game. And there were spells in that first period. You know, the industry of Lagrassa and Anunga, you know, was complemented with Hani's technical ability. And, you know, we're seeing an individual who's more and more confident. I think the only thing he'd be disappointed about today was he had a couple of opportunities and he's not been able to show the same sort of form in front of goal, but his influence on the game with the ball was every bit as important as we've seen before. And look, you know, we've seen on many occasions, we come away from home, you know, we have to be competitive, like all teams have to be. But to get that balance of creation and keeping your goal not only intact, but, you know, at arm's length for the opposing side is a difficult one. But there were many opportunities tonight, and you know, his inclusion in that is, you know, again, immeasurable.
We'll go back to Tim Sullivan. Go ahead, Tim.
Gary, what's your mindset, just kind of watching it unfold, and also maybe what your kind of intention is as you, over the final 17 minutes plus stoppage time, kind of watch your team have a pretty difficult time getting it pinned out of their own end?
Oh yeah, as you can imagine, there's some anxious moments. You know, within that period of time, you know, the guys will be looking back on opportunities that we'd failed to extend our lead and give ourselves some breathing space. So the room for error is minute. It puts more pressure on people's techniques and ability to connect. There were occasions again where we may have done a better job, but credit to Montreal, they pushed, as you would expect as a home team. They changed their shape, they threw bodies forward. And the one thing I will say is, when these guys, and when I say these guys, our boys, are asked to roll their sleeves up and to really put their bodies on the line, I think you start to see the true value of this group. You know, there are other things that we've done well, but the core determination of this group came through tonight, and we needed that. You know, there were some pressurized spells, and we saw some very, very good defending.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Gary, obviously there's a lot of the season left to play. And this isn't to say that Nashville hasn't been in form to start the year, but a big win against New York City, got the first win of the road against Atlanta, and then now this one. Do you feel at all like you guys are kind of hitting that top gear at the right time? And do you feel like there's more levels and more to improve yet for this team?
I think we're too far out at the moment, Ben, to be, you know, suggesting that, you know, we're rounding into playoff form. We still have to mathematically get ourselves in. We'll continue to say we're in a good spot and we're doing a good job. There are still a number of things that I think we'd all like to make sure we cover or tick the box of on the way towards what we hope is going to be a playoff berth. Getting away results is important. Yes, we want to finish as high as we possibly can, but, you know, we want to be proving to ourselves and everyone else that, you know, we have the right answers when we go away from home. We've had, you know, 3 wins on the spin, 2 of those away results. So, you know, I think you could safely say there's a bit more confidence in the group when we come away from Nissan Stadium. But as far as, you know, the guys and their mentality, I do think we're still working towards the best shape, the best individuals. There's still a lot of competition and a lot of fighting going on for many, many areas of the field. But as we move into what's going to be, you know, the final run-in and quarter of the season, I would like to think that everyone feels as though there's an opportunity here to be part of whatever comes next. And I think that's been a strength for the group.
We'll wrap it up with Tim Sullivan. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, they didn't necessarily get rewarded for it, but what did you think, especially of the first half that CJ and Daniel Rios had?
The pair of them did a fantastic job. You know, Daniel looked a little bit leggy as he come out the second half, and I think what we have to remember is whilst he's had a tremendous impact when he's played in the last 3 games, he hasn't had an awful lot of football. He's been out for a long, long period of time. So, you know, there are those transitions to make. You come off at half time, the legs get a little bit wobbly, and you're looking for the next gear going into the second period. But I think the combination's been terrific. You know, you look at that trio of attacking players and, you know, you've got a pretty formidable group there. And that's obviously without talking about the guys that are either on the bench or unfortunately not with us today.
We'll start with Tim Sullivan, then we'll go to Ben Wright. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, Joe, specifically on the 74th minute play, I'm sure you know the time codes of when things happen, where you made the save and then Walker came in front of you to block the rebound. What did you see? And it looked like you might have had the shot that he blocked covered anyway, but what did you see on that play?
Yeah, I think to be honest, I don't exactly remember how it got to the middle, but I think it was served in and maybe took a deflection. And, you know, I had a little bit of a sight at the ball. There was a little traffic in front of me and gave up a bad rebound, and Walker was there to clean it up. So it's something that Walker does a lot, and a lot of our defenders do. So, you know, when I talk about clean sheets being a team effort, it's really not just because it's not just a cliche. It's things like that. I mean, there are reasons why I say that, because all of our defenders put their body on the line every single game to make blocks like that, and that's why, you know, we're in the position that we're in.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Joe, we saw a really strong performance again from Brian Anunga in midfield. What did you see from him specifically defensively?
Yeah, he's like a pit bull in there, man. He eats everything up. He's relentless. You know, he's pretty good on the ball too. You know, when we need him to slow things down and switch the field, he's there to do it. And defensively speaking, you know, it's hard to get around him. He's got an engine. He doesn't stop working. So yeah, Brian definitely brings a lot to us.
Go ahead, Tim.
Over the final 17 minutes ish of regulation and then stoppage time there, you guys were kind of pinned into your own end. As a goalkeeper, I know I ask you this a lot. You say I kind of like to see a little bit of the ball so that I feel like I'm involved in the game. But when it's kind of that almost onslaught, how do you feel about it?
You know, we faced it a lot last year, so we have a lot of experience being in that situation and getting results out of it. I have a lot of confidence in the guys in front of me too, and you have to have kind of a going to war mentality. And you know, when you have those guys with you, you have a lot of confidence. It's hard work, and it's, you know, it's not going to be easy, but at the end of the day, it's something that we've done really well last year and into this year.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, one of the early season kind of storylines felt like was struggling on the road, and now you've won 2 on the road. From an outside perspective, it kind of feels like that Atlanta win changed something. On your end, internally, does it feel like getting that first win really changed anything, or is it still just going out there every week, putting in the same type of performance and the same mentality?
No, I think it did change something. I think in that Atlanta game, we went into it, you know, expecting a lot of energy from both teams and a tough environment. And to be honest, we were a little bit jittery at the beginning, but once we realized that we could play through them and you know, try and keep the ball and you know, really keep possession, I think we started to build confidence, and we started to see that we don't have to just sit and defend and hope for a counterattack or something. Getting the 3 points and, you know, 2 goals out of the game definitely propelled us going forward.
We'll wrap it up with Tim. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, Joe, obviously we've talked a lot when Walker has been absent a couple times for international duty and then briefly for personal and then injury reasons. How important is he to this team when he returns to the lineup and then has the sort of game that he does with the goal and then that block shot? Does it kind of underscore what he does for you guys?
Yeah, he's huge for us. I mean, what's that? Oh yeah, he's huge for us. I mean, not just defensively, but obviously you see him going and scoring, and that's, you know, sometimes what you need in away games is you need to get a goal on a set piece or something like that. So, I mean, what he brings on the field, as well as his leadership qualities and his experience, you know, it's irreplaceable.